Games have always been in my life. They play an important part of my life. They give me a lot of joy, I have a lot of fun with it. They give me the chance to keep in touch with friends and family, just staying connected. And, nowadays, I'm just really glad more and more people are enjoying video games as a hobby. And that having video games as a hobby isn't seen as like derogatory or lame as like those 1980 movies present them as. Nowadays, it's more appreciated, even celebrated. I mean, we have an award show for it, and it brings in a lot of views. So this video, I'm pretty much going to be talking about my relationship with video games as I was growing up as a kid and all that. So yeah, pretty much this is what I played as a kid. So my very first console system was the Nintendo DS system. Nintendo DSi system. And it was a glorious handheld system. Right now, I do have a Nintendo system. The one I have is the 3DS XL. Mine was blue. I got it from Cash Converters. Yeah, I got this one from Cash Converters. My brother has the Nintendo Switch. We are not getting the Nintendo Switch 2 as of this moment. So on the Nintendo DSi system, we played a lot of games, and there are a few that quite stuck out. So my brother and I, we both had a DS system. So a game that we would play a lot was co-op games. So stuff like, Mario and Sonic. So a Mario game we did play was it was the Mario Kart for the DS, and that one was a lot of fun. The racing was fun, but the highlights for us were the Battle Royale mode. That was the real sell. It was like a free for all. You'd have balloons on the back of your cart that represent your lives, and you just go at each other. It was so much fun. You use turtle shells, you use stars, whatever tricks to get as many points and eliminate as many players, and you'd be the last one. Another Mario game we played was New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. Now, I know you might be thinking, isn't Mario usually a single player game? You'd be right. But I'm not going to be talking about the single player aspects. I'm going to talk about the mini games. But right before I get into the mini games, there was a versus mode where you could either play as Mario or Luigi, and you'd go against each other and you try to collect as many stars, and you'd stop whoever it was from collecting this certain amount of stars to win the games. And I had a favorite level. It was the ice level where you could get this blue turtle, and if I got blue turtle, it is a lot of fun. It's basically the one with the most mobility that isn't a star, because the star is the most OP item. But this blue shell was also it's just a lot of fun. The map I hated the most it's this one where you're like, I don't know if it's Bowser's Castle, but you're in a sort of castle, and periodically the ceiling would like come down and crush you, so you have to get into these undercover spots. And then if you weren't together, you would literally just stay there awaiting until the ceiling would come up. So that kind of like slowed down the pace for me. So it wasn't my favorite. Not to say it was bad, it just wasn't my favorite. Now, versus mode, that's fun. But like I said, the mini games, that's where the highlight is. That's where I had the most fun, especially in co-op modes. It's just so much fun. Like, even my mom liked the mini games, and my mom does not like video games, but she liked the mini games. Now, my favorite mini game was the one where you have like the blue and pink sentient bombs. They come down. There's these two cages, and you basically had to like sort them quickly, like use the stylus and sort out the pink bombs in the pink cage and the black bombs in the black cage. And you had to do that really quickly before they'd set off, and that would mean game over. And yeah, that was like a lot of fun for me. I like, getting my hands busy and all that. But playing against someone, that is just pure chaos. And it's the fun kind of chaos. What would happen is if you get, I think it was 40 in total of blue and black and pink in either of cages, they would send them off to your opponents, and you'd have to do the same thing again. And then they would have to sort out those 40 you sent over, but they can also do the same and send 40 of variety of colors back to you, and you'd have to set them out. It was just it was a lot of chaos, but it was a lot of fun. I know I explained that I probably explained that really badly, but just take my word for it. It is a lot of fun. Sonic Colors was it was another video game that I was that I played on the Nintendo DS system. The aliens giving you, like a symbiotic relationship. You're a host. They give you new powers. I thought it was a cool gimmick, and it was a flashy gimmick as well because there were like bright colors and it would drastically change how you played the game. For me, my favorite of the aliens was the Void one, where you'd sync up with this like purple alien thing. It didn't have eyes. It didn't even talk, but its powers was to make you eat stuff, and as you do, you grow bigger, and it was awesome. Using him it felt like such a power trip. Every time you see him, like, oh yeah, it's time. And also with the Sonic Colors game, they had a music video, and I remember I bumped to it all the time. It was awesome. I was always so jealous of the people who got it on the Wii system, but as I grown older, I was like, you know what? I'm pretty happy with what I got. Speaking of Sonic, they don't do it anymore, but at my local library, they had a Xbox 360 system, which you could use or like rent for like 1 to 2 hours if you paid $5. I don't really remember how it worked. I know you had to pay for it to use it, but it was such a long time ago. But I do remember that the two games I would always play was the Sonic the Hedgehog game and this ice skiing game. I do not remember the name of it, but it's like a skate game. You do tricks and you get points and all that. I remember I liked the Sonic game. I don't remember if I was any good at it, but I remember I liked it. But as I got older, I got the opportunity to own it for myself. Then I played it. It is unplayable. So many bugs. It is very difficult to play. But I did watch, YouTube videos of just like the cinematics. So I just watched those on YouTube. But yeah, that game sucks. It sucks. I was and still am. I know they contradict each other. A huge Pokemon fan. Just before heading out to school, they would have, a really early program. I can't remember, like 6:30 or maybe it was 7:30. I don't remember, but they had a thing where you could watch an episode of Pokemon, and I grew up on cable, so you could watch an episode of Pokemon just before heading out to school. And my favorite episodes, or when it was best, was like those episodes when Ash would be going up against a gym leader, or maybe just featuring like featuring a legendary Pokemon or something like that. Those would be the best. There are multiple Pokemon games I played as a kid. I've played quite a few. I've played Pokemon Black. I've played Pokemon Platinum. I played a little bit of Pokemon Soul Silver when my brother would allow it, because it was technically his. He had Pokemon White, the counterparts. But my favorite Pokemon game, and still to this day, was Pokemon White 2. I think the reason why I preferred Pokemon White 2 compared to the other Pokemon games was just like this, was just a nostalgia factor. I'll explain. So I had already played Pokemon Black, and the return to Unova with so much post-game content, it was just so much fun. It was the best. You get to explore even more of this region. There's like 2 corners of the region they let you explore a little bit extra compared to the first one, the Pokemon Black or Pokemon White, whichever one you played. Everything about Pokemon, I love it so much. It just speaks to me. The evolving of Pokemon, the battle systems, taking turns, the typing, and I guess the best part for me was making my team. Finding cool Pokemon to add to my team, and then using those said Pokemon to conquer gyms, conquer the Elite Four, and then defeat the champion. And become the new champion. I didn't like the training part of the Pokemon, but I can't blame them completely on that because I was just an impatient kid. Still kind of am. And nowadays, I totally get this statement where people say, oh, the game's just a little bit stale, nothing drastic has really changed. But to me, back then, it was super refreshing to see. Especially, like, I didn't know, oh, they brought it back? We're going back to Unova? Oh, come on. Pokemon franchise is special to me. You get to be a Pokemon trainer. Not exactly like the show, but it's the closest thing we get. My second console system was the Xbox 360. And that console was life-changing. Little me was stoked to be able to play games, but like on the TV, not on a little screen. It was on the TV in my house, on demand. It was so mesmerizing. It was so cool. I got to play Sonic Sega All-Star Racing on it. That was one of the first games I played. And I already love Sonic. So you combine Sonic with fast cars. It's like a drug to me. My favorite character to use was Knuckles the Echidna. And this dude who rollerblades and he wore a green shirt and he had spray cans. This was mainly due to the All-Star moves, which is like their ultimate ability. For Knuckles, his All-Star move was like you would hold a button and you'd charge up and then he'd smash the ground and he'd lift everyone's cars. He'd stumble everyone's cars, but there was one where he could like charge up for a really long time and he would everyone on the race course, if you're first or last, doesn't matter how far away, he would shake up everybody and could really screw over some people's races. The green shirt dude, his was more simple. You know, it's just a speed boost, but it was like a visually interesting one. He would speed boost, but he would have these spray cans. So he'd start skating, he'd speed boost, he had spray cans, and everyone who would go near him, he would blind them with his spray cans. So the other people's screens would just be like green paint, so they can't see. The All-Star moves were probably my favorite part of the games. That's why, you know, in the sequel games, like Transformation and all that, I was really disappointed that those All-Star moves did not pass over. It was really disappointing. So I didn't really stick with the Sonic Sega All-Star series, but I did really like that first game. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. I saw this at my local EB Game store, and the cover just looked so cool. And it came with a collector's card, like a stamp, and it said, comes with a collector's card. I was like, oh my goodness, you had me. I think I was 12 or 13 at the time. I don't know where the card is. I have no idea where it is. I haven't seen it in years. It's probably gone forever. But I had it. This game was my first fighting game, and I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't just the really cool ways of how they were fighting using jutsus and all that, but you know, the story also had me deep in it. Like I was like, who is this man under the white mask? I want to know who he is, and then personally strike him down. Because like throughout the whole game, he is just running circles around us, and he could phase through. That's gotta be cheating. How this game starts, pure cinema. You play as the third Hokage, and your job is to fight off a kaiju-sized monster in the shape of a fox who can shoot beams of energy out of his mouth and level our city. While this is happening, you are also playing as the fourth Hokage, just somewhere outside the village, and you are fighting the man who's in a white mask, but this time in a orange or yellow mask. And he just phases through everything. It's so annoying to fight. And here's the worst part. They don't tell you, but like they get a sense of it. Like if the man in the mask touches you, you lose. Maybe not necessarily die, but like the character can tell and you as a player could tell if this man touches you, you die or you lose the game. It's so cinematic. It's so cool. And the later fights are also just as good. That's just the beginning. Yeah, I think it's because of this game that story-based games became more of a permanent rotation in my roster of video games to play. Like I'd always look, oh, that's a new story. I want to get absorbed in that. And yeah, I think Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 played a big role in that. Terraria is, in my opinion, one of the best games of all time. I didn't play Minecraft. I was more of a Terraria kid. But I didn't play on the PC. I didn't have a PC as a kid. We did have a PC, but no games on it. We would only like watch like YouTube and stuff on it. And we played, I say we as me and my brother, we played Terraria on the iPad. Yes, I had an iPad as a kid. There were several games I played on it, like Subway Surfers, Jetpack Joyride, Plants vs. Zombies, Angry Birds, but the one I indulged the most in was Terraria. Terraria was one of the games. My brother and I created so many worlds in that game. It was like to the point where we'd watch like YouTube tutorials on like how to make a house or how to make a really good looking house, how to make a tower, how to set up portals and why is the stuff that connected to levers and all that. It was just we were that addicted to Terraria. We loved creating. I remember one of the worlds that I put a lot of effort into was a bridge world. So it was a world where it was a bridge that would span across from beach to beach, and each biome had a tower, which would be kind of like a lookout tower, but it had a portal set up in it, so you could teleport to that biome which the tower was located in. And each biome, the buildings that were there, sort of had a different theme. So with like the ice biome, the wood, I think it was called boreal wood. It was like a dark wood. That's this type of wood we would use. And then if you were just in the grass biome, you'd have this more just the regular wood that you get from regular trees. That one was a lot of fun to create. That world, we called it the Bridge World. Very proud of that one. There were so many other games I wanted to talk about. Like these ones are just the ones that kind of stood out, but there were a lot of games that I played as a kid. So, might make a part 2. I didn't even talk about the computer games that I played, like on the web kind of games. Or there's internet games like Fireboy, Waterboy. I played a lot of like cool math games, or even there's other games that I play on the iPad. But thank you for watching. Have a good one.